Now, this is where we could have made everybody money because we are never right in picking who's going to win the PGA tournament on Sunday afternoon. It was Sepp Straka. What's up, Sepp? And we didn't pick him at all. Your pick, Cam Young, tied for 6th.
That's not awful.
Not that bad. Cam Young had a slide on Saturday and Sunday. That's why he finished.
Kind of hard to pick on Friday or Thursday because they usually Thursday, Friday, totally different than Saturday, Sunday players.
We've got to start looking at our weather report, knowing where these tournaments are. John Deere was in Illinois, by the way. Shank. Adam Shank, Kurt's pick, and then my pick, Ludwig Aberg, both tied for 4th.
Yeah, minus 18 for Schenker.
Oh, I was noticing that. Minus 21 is what Sepp Straka won.
They need to fix course.
Seems like an easy course there, huh, Rory McIlroy?
Yeah.
Outdated.
Hear any comments about that one or the one before? Only the Travelers is easy, I guess. Just brought that up.
It's sour grapes.
Little sour grapes.
Mr. Sour Grape.
I do think that the sporting event of the weekend was UFC 290. Honestly, there are some awesome fights. Robbie Lawler walks away as a champ, or at least as a winner. He had several uppercuts to Nico Price's face. And I think this is less than a minute. I don't know. It's one of those, if you blink, you may have missed it. Price took just 4 squared up Lawler uppercuts that dropped him to the mat. Those weren't ones that we were betting on. One, I told everyone, hey, why don't you just throw a couple of dollars on this guy? He's only plus 2,800. Well, that was what we call a sucker bet. Val Woodward lasted 38 seconds.
Woodburn.
Is it Woodburn? Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Val's going back to wherever Val's from.
Val. It was a trap, Kurt. So true. I saw that plus 2,800.
TKO'd 1 minute and 38 seconds into the fight. Or no, actually 38 seconds into the fight.
So I was super pumped
Round
up
1.
about this because we talked about it on the show. And I was like, man, I got to throw down because if I don't throw down and it happens, I'll feel even worse about it. So threw down on it. Learning about Val Woodburn.
Wood burning. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah, that's right.
Smell wood burning.
He's was supposed to be in the Contender. He got left off the show, and apparently Dana White had called him for this main event fight. Now you're like, wow, a guy that's never fought in the UFC getting a main event fight. He was 7-0. He's also a landscaper in Florida, so that's where he's going back to, Dibs. Right back to
7-1.
Lawnmower sitting on top of that. But this Bo Nichols guy, undefeated at Penn State when he was a wrestler, and they kept saying if anyone's a blue chip prospect in the world of MMA, it is this Bo Nickal kid. 38 seconds later, he was on top. And then the fights we did pick, the 2 championship fights in the co-main event, Moreno versus Pantoja. Pantoja is how you pronounce it. We were way off on Friday. However, Kurt and I went with Pantoja there, Dibs. Dibs went with Moreno, who was the fan favorite big time. Now, this fight ended in a decision. It could have gone any way. Now, this is a championship fight, so it was 5-minute rounds. Blood bath. Hopefully they got the hose out to water the
Flyweights
match.
usually throw a lot of punches, man.
And this Moreno can box. He was the loser of the fight. Pantoja ended up getting the decision, but this guy has got all the skills with his hands. I thought his demise was a couple of kicks to the face from Pantoja. Some great grapple stuff. It was all over the place. It was never not exciting in this fight, but Pantoja got the decision. And again, this was a split decision, flip a coin. I don't know how Pantoja got it. I would have gave it to Moreno, but nonetheless, he ends up winning, gets the championship belt. And the cool moment at the end of the fight is Moreno's Mexican loyalties were on display big time at T-Mobile. Or is it T-Mobile?
Yeah.
We're in T-Mobile.
It's T-Mobile.
And just the whole crowd was behind Moreno the entire way. When Pantoja wins the belt, they were booing him. And he had in a microphone, he says, I know you guys don't like me, but you're going to love me. And told a little bit of his story and all, and then brought his kids in there. He's got like 20 kids. 20 kids and his wife, who is just a dink. I don't know how she had all those kids. She looks great. What? Everybody was thinking it. I just said it. Then the final fight in UFC 290 went Volkanovski's way, and this is where I don't think we won money for our listeners.
Because we all took Volkanovski.
We all took Volkanovski, and usually that goes the other way.
I just liked his name, Alexander the Great.
I was thinking more of the Vulcan, like a Star Trek thing.
Oh, he gave him the Vulcan grip. That's right.
He should do that when yes.
Right on his neck.
Should be a move. But in 290...
Spock.
I thought we were 2 on it, Kurt. We need to be worse than what we were. We were right on the money, which is never like us.
This was the big bet coming up.
Athletic versus athletics. Who gets more wins on the weekend? And the way this finished, I don't think it could have been any better.
Neither.
All of us said Athletic, our favorite soccer club right down here downtown Hartford. They were taking on the San Diego Loyal. 2-0. Loyal. Another loss for I know.
Why?
Tried to tell them not to do it, Kurt, but they did it anyway. They welcomed the new head coach of the Hartford Athletic
With an L.
with a big fat L. So the Oakland Athletics have 3 chances to get the win on the weekend. They did not get a 1. Plus scored 3 runs all game. That's their limit. They only can score 3 after that. Put them
They're
to
shut
bed.
down.
So that one, I guess, was a push. It's just how bad these two teams are. I feel for my Hartford Athletic friends, my boys in green. They have got to be. They're coming to the point, Dibs, where I think they're going to start fighting each other. It's going to be that point where the tempers are just going to boil over. They've got a 3-game road trip: Tulsa, Vegas, and I think San Antonio. I predict some kind of something.
Okay, how about
Dusting
this?
up.
How about we change the unis?
Change the unis.
Maybe go with black.
Whoa!
Go on the road. Because we wear white at home, black tops for the road. Go with a different colored uni.
I think you might be onto something there.
Change something. Change your look.
Because we've tried the coach so many times.
I mean, the firing coaches and hiring coaches is not working.
No, it's got to be something else. I think it is.
Either you guys are tired of looking at that green and blue and
maybe it's
whaler
just
color.
Off-putting to kick. I don't know. You got to do something different. I'm with you, Dibs. I'm with you. Now the Oakland A's. I'm sorry. You're set up to fail. You're set up to fail. Our Athletic are set up to succeed. Your Athletic totally set up to fail. I don't think there's anything you can do for that club, Dibs.
No. Move to Vegas. It's the only thing I can do for that club.
Rough stuff. So there we go. That's who we had. I would say, unfortunately, we did pretty good on the weekend. Usually we're really bad, and that helps you listeners out to make some money on the weekend.
That's the thing about gambling.
You never know.
You never know. You're going to have some ups. You're going to have some downs. You got to be able to weather the downs.
So true. You got to weather the downs. You got to minimize those downs and maximize those yays.
Kurt, I wanted to ask Kurt this, though. You got to be pretty excited about how your Red Sox have been playing, winning 8 out of 9 right up to the break. That's a nice run for them.
It feels good. It's different. It's unforeseen, I would call it, because if you told me that we're up over 500 going to the break with a 5-game
winning streak, right?
You know, I mean, I would have taken that in April.
And you almost had a 9-game winning streak had the Rangers not won that one game in there. You swept the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
You took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, and then you swept the A's. So, I mean, 2 of those 3 teams are 2 of the best teams in baseball.
Right, but still being at the bottom of the division, I don't know what the right move is.
But they'd be at the top of so many other divisions. They're 48 and 43 right now. They're 9 games back. I like to be double digits going into the second half of the season, albeit that you're at 91 games and counting. But I'm excited for your Red Sox, man. It's making my household a lot happier place.
I
the
believe
dollars
that.
and cents of it, I think, is going to come in more to play than where they are in the rankings.
Well, now do you sell in
That's
2
what
weeks?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Well, if you're not,
That's a problem.
You're not buying. You're not buying because you had 2 players you could have bought before the season started.
I'm
that were
afraid
already
they
your
might
player.
trade Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, I'm afraid there's a bunch of people on the
He's
block.
the most valuable.
Because I'm not looking at it as what normally you would do, what a logical person would do. I'm looking at as what these particular front office Red Sox are going to do.
It's a great point.
I think the best thing for y'all Red Sox fans, is you're so close to being on top of the New York Yankees. And forget about the World Series. Let's forget about the World Series. Let's just try to beat the Yankees.
You also have the Leprechaun that's been amazing that a lot of people would love this guy. He's got championship pedigree, Justin Turner.
See, him and Duvall,
age.
I think both of those guys are going to have a voice in this conversation. Like, if they are above the Yankees, above Toronto, third in that division, 10 games above, those two guys come into your office, Chaim Bloom, and say, listen, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
We don't got much time on the shelf. Let's get it going. Let's make it happen.
I agree with you there.
Maybe they'll do
then
it.
you can't even give away like a Kike Hernandez.
No.
I don't even think anybody wants him in his different colored
There's
shoes.
a lot of people in the league, though, that you cannot give away because they're making so much money and their batting average is below 200. So you gotta get something from them, whether it's a base hit or a.
I'm actually excited. Tristan Casas got his batting average up to 225. If he could get that sucker up to 250 by the end of the season, that would be fantastic for that dude.
Steady Eddie.
Get 20 home runs on the season, that would be nice. He's at 9 right now, so you only need 11 in like the last 80 games here.
I think it's great that my guy Masashita
Yoshida?
Masataka Yoshida. I'm just glad that he's kicking butt.
Dude, 10
Didn't get him
homers,
last
44 driven in. He's not a big dude. And he's hitting 316.
You don't need to be.
No, he's got
You don't need to
massive
be.
legs, though, man. And he's got quick hands.
Quick hands. He's just smart. He just plays smart baseball.
Uses Fenway to his advantage. So is Duran. Duran is unbelievable, hitting the ball opposite way at Fenway. I want to break this down because this guy at home, especially lately, he's hitting like almost 400 in the last month at Fenway. But let me give you his splits at
Duran?
home. Yeah, Jaron Duran is unbelievable. Hitting 357 at home this season and 284 on the road.
There you go.
So, and they're clamoring all week. This guy needs to play every day. This guy needs. I think they know, but the problem is you got a lot of money invested in these other guys, and it's kind of hard to have a guy that didn't have great success early, and that's a problem with these young guys.
But that's a hype machine problem.
And that's
It's
not his problem.
Their problem.
I agree. That's the media problem because everybody wants to be on Twitter and on Instagram and stuff and talk about all these guys so much. But like I always say, until you've gone around the league one time, now the second time through is much more difficult. We're going to adjust. We're not going to feed you a lot of fastballs, and we're going to see what you do to adjust to us, and that exposes you.
And as much as those guys that were struggling in the first part, I'm looking at guys like your man Ellie De La Cruz. Like, can he keep
He's
it going?
played 30 games.
Can he keep it going? Like, he's got so much more baseball to play before you anoint him, the greatest all-star ever to come to the Cincinnati Reds. So,
Listen, I love my Reds, but I'm looking for them to hit a valley here eventually. Nobody stays up that much, and
Right.
they've been on a high here for 6 weeks. And so,
and how can young guys take that?
right. And even your Cubbies, even though they're 5 games under, they could quickly be, win 10 out of 12 and be 5 games over, and all of a sudden, bam, they're pressuring the Reds. I don't see Pittsburgh. They were high.
Yeah.
Then they're
Remember
low.
that? Remember that?
But listen, Pittsburgh's got a steady group of young guys that they could get hot. So that's not the greatest division in baseball.
I can't wait for that Cardinals sale. It's going to be a lot of fun
flexibility.
what they're selling.
This guy was a backup catcher and has now co-authored a book called The Tao of the Backup Catcher. Erik Kratz, he was a veteran of more than a decade in the major leagues, and he did a lot of different jobs at the major league level as far as the backup man. And so we'll talk to Erik Kratz next on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive, Kirk Kaplan on the ones and twos, and John Ashmead is on the video for today on our YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
97.9